There are approximately 80,000 Muslims in Calgary, and this number is growing every year. Contrary to what many non-Muslims believe, there is large diversity within the Muslim faith, and this is well represented in the Muslim community of Calgary. Muslims here come from countries all over the world such as Egypt, Lebanon, Pakistan, and Yemen. The diversity in the Calgary community is not solely related to ethnicity, but also to how people live their lives, including careers, hobbies, and family composition and lifestyle. We hope to show through this video how some Muslims in Calgary balance their faith and their diverse interests to acculturate into Canadian society.
The three things, the three components of modesty are the spiritual, the intellectual, and the physical.
How did you go about finding your burkini? What was the process like?
I've been wanting to get it for a long time. I knew they were available online, so I went online, found one in the States and ordered it, and ever since then makes it a lot easier for me to go in the water and do water activities, especially as a family. I was actually looking one for my daughter as well, but that's the most modest one I can find. I just got her a wetsuit. And I'd like to teach her more about modesty just because, you know, yes, we like to have a good time and we like to, you know, participate in water activities, but at the same time we are Muslim and I do have to teach her that, and this is the age for me to be teaching her things like that.
So, do you want to know why I was late today? So I took the 10 minutes to set up the bike and had to go inside just to drop something off, and then heard the adhan go off. So I'm like, I know I'll be late, but I think I'm gonna pray, especially because we're fasting. So I decided to pray.
So how do you balance bike riding with religious obligations?
I mean, during Ramadan this past month or so, I actually haven't been able to maybe work out to the extent that I had wanted to, just because I just didn't have the energy. But a bike ride was a good way to try to keep some of that stamina going. And I met up with a friend, and we would bike ride around just after Asr, so around 6 or 6:30, and for about an hour and a half. And then by the time we got home and got ready, it was time for Maghrib. For me, I was able to balance this, that I would be able to pray and not miss any prayers. I don't really find it hard to balance, and I don't think that there's an issue balancing my Muslim or religious obligations with other personal priorities of mine, like being healthy or being fit. I don't think that these ideas are mutually exclusive, so I don't really find it an issue. I don't think it's hard at all. So even while I'm riding, I'm constantly being reminded of Allah and my deen, because I look around me and subhanAllah, I'm surrounded by beautiful nature, and it doesn't have to be that I'm praying on time or something. I can be on my bike ride, and every time I take this path, subhanAllah, I look around me and I'm just amazed by the scenery that I have, and that's all thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Have you seen any other hijabi women bike riding when you're out and about?
To be honest, no. Is it something unique? As far as I know, because I haven't run into a lot of people doing it, yeah. Does it matter? Not to me. It's important for me to stay fit and to maintain a good level of fitness and to be healthy. In our deen, it's important because God has given us these bodies and we have an obligation to take care of them. And this is the way for me to do it. And so, am I one of the few? From what I can tell, there might be more out there, but does it matter to me? No.
Salah is the most important pillar of Islam after the two Shahada. People can take 15-minute cigarette breaks at work, right? They can take a break and just go hang out, do whatever. You can't pray 5 times a day.
In this culture where not everybody's Muslim, you have to navigate or negotiate the fact that we have to pray 5 times a day. So how do you go about balancing your day or scheduling your day to do that?
You have to learn to see prayer spaces, potential prayer spaces in public places. For example, at work, whether it be a staff room or a courtroom, you try to find a place that you know you'll have quiet, you may not be interrupted, and you have the space to pray.
We do a lot of errands just out in the community, so whether it's in a grocery store or in a shopping mall like we are right now, we have to kind of get the lay of the land and think of potential places. So an example of what we do is use dressing rooms as a prayer space. So, you know, letting an associate know that we'd like to pray and just going in there for about 5 minutes and praying is an option, and it's a private space as well.
You mentioned letting an associate know. I think that there are certain things that I myself wasn't as comfortable with at the beginning. One is letting a person know right away. So, you know, you can take in clothes, for example. Also finding a place where I wouldn't be interrupted. Because if someone doesn't know that I'm praying, and a salesperson comes to check in on me and I can't respond because I'm in the middle of prayer, or if the door goes down all the way, so when I'm doing sujood, I'm comfortable in the position that I'm at. There's definite things you have to take into consideration. Everybody's different, and your comfort level, whether you let someone know or whether you don't, just depends on your personal.
Assalamu alaikum.
Martial art include all the combative arts like karate or karate, judo, the art of expressing the human body.
Karate is an outlet to giving discipline, you know, honor, integrity, and indomitable spirit.
I've been doing martial arts since about at least 7 years old. When I was about 10 or so, I started doing more Japanese martial arts like karate, jiu-jitsu. Recently, I've started more Brazilian jiu-jitsu just because of the concepts behind the art. Other arts like karate, any of these striking arts that are out there today, they're very dangerous. There's only certain levels of control you have. Whereas the concepts of jiu-jitsu and the concepts of aikido is more harmony and more peaceful in the way you resolve their different conflicts. Jiu-jitsu itself is meant to be gentle, but being gentle in terms of your movements, being able to feel an opponent's flow, an opponent's energy, and just go with it, as opposed to trying to meet force with force. As Muslims, every day we give salam. The meaning of salam is peace. We're spreading peace between each other. And that's the same concepts, the same morals that you get from doing some of these martial arts. It's not about hurting the other person. Yes, someone can get hurt, but it's more about submitting that person. For example, in jiu-jitsu, we do a lot of submissions. Yes, it's painful, but you can control yourself. When we bow in martial arts, it's not a sign of worship. You're not worshiping the other person. It's just a sign of respect. Different people will have different opinions. Some people will say, no, you can't bow, it doesn't matter what. But I personally believe it's what's in your heart. I know the Prophet ﷺ, he did wrestling, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu almost in a modern framework represents wrestling. So I feel proud that I'm actually following in his footsteps.
Even in elementary school, we're taught from a young age that Canada is a multicultural society, a mosaic of different ethnicities, faiths, and interests. Yet most Muslims do face these same realities in needing to balance the practice of our faith with living in Canada. And what we hope we showed with this video is that Islam and life in Canada are not mutually exclusive. Whether it's spending time with your children, engaging in physical activity, or volunteering in the community, being Muslim should not prevent, and usually does not prevent, Muslims from being active participants in Canadian society.